What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Totally Awesome Podcast, the TAP podcast so bad it'll make you tap out. It's your boy JoshAgeddon, and today it is just going to be me talking, so you'll have to put up with me for a little while. I don't know how long this is going to be. I just got back from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and yes, the music that you just heard is from a remix of the Sonic Heroes theme song, which I heard earlier today, and I really liked, so I just decided to throw that in to just really set the mood for this. Okay, so this is going to be, I wouldn't say this is a review, this is just my thoughts on the movie as a whole, because I went to go see it with my girlfriend Stephanie. It was a late Valentine's Day thing, because she was working yesterday, and I was at college yesterday, and we were both free today, so she came over, and we went to go see the movie, and we had a good time. So Valentine's Day with Sonic, that's very interesting, never thought I'd ever say that. Anyway, so, before I get into the movie, I just want to say a few things. As you all know, I am into professional wrestling. I love Dragon Ball, I love Star Wars. One of the first franchises I ever got into was Sonic the Hedgehog. I have been a huge fan of this series since I was 7 or 8, and I'm 22 years old now. So yeah, I've been to Sonic the Hedgehog for a while. In fact, the first Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Heroes. I can't remember what age I was, but it was the first time I played a game that made my jaw drop. To this day, I still love Sonic Heroes. It's not a perfect game, but it's my favorite Sonic game, and it's one of my favorite video games of all time. Every time I play it, it just instantly puts me in a good mood, because just the vibe of that game is just, it's infectious. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a fantastic game. I love it. So that just tells you a little bit about me. And I have played a bunch of other Sonic games. I've played the original games. Sonic 2 is legitimately one of the best video games I've ever played, from an objective standpoint. So yeah, and then I've seen, when I was younger, also while I was playing Sonic games, I fell in love with Sonic X. And in my opinion, my thoughts on Sonic X have, I've kind of soured on it a little bit, although it's clearly, when you watch it, it's made for kids, and it's alright. And actually, I'll bring up Sonic X in a minute. But yeah, I've been a big fan of Sonic. What can I say? I've been a huge fan of Sonic for a long time. So, when the first trailer, well, actually, I remember a couple years ago when this movie was announced, and I was like, this will be interesting. I've always wanted to see a Sonic movie. Ever since I became a Sonic fan, I was like, this would be really cool as a movie. I always felt like that, and then it was announced, and it was also announced that it would be a live-action CGI hybrid, and that's when everyone was like, alright, hold up, you lost me. And I'm just like, hey, let's see where they go with it. I was one of the ones who was not completely against that at the outset when this was first back when Sony was in charge of it. And that was also a major concern of a lot of people, because a lot of people don't like Sony. Name one company that people don't like. But anyway, I was one of those who was just like, let's just see what they do. Then it just kind of trailed off for the next couple of years, and I just started doubting that this movie would ever happen. But then it was announced that it was actually happening, and then the first trailer dropped. The first trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog dropped almost a year ago, and Sonic looked super weird. I will be the first to admit, I did not hate that first trailer. I thought it was alright. Gangster's Paradise was kind of out of place, sort of. I mean, I could see what they were going for, but it was just weird. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at all. And I didn't even hate the way Sonic looked. I just thought it was weird. Looking back, seeing what we got and what was in the first trailer, it's night and day. But back when that first trailer came out, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was weird. So, and of course everyone freaked out about it, and I think some people were a little too harsh about it, but they pushed the movie back, they redesigned him, and here we are. And I will say, I'm about to get into this movie, so if you're worried about spoilers, I'm going to talk about the movie in a general sense for the next couple minutes, but when I start getting into spoilers, I will let you know, okay, I'm going to get into some spoilers, so you won't have to worry about me spoiling anything. Unless you don't want me to spoil anything, but you keep listening anyway, that's honestly your fault. So, anyway, it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. So, what did I think of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? Honestly, as a fan of this franchise since I was little, I adored this movie. Is it a masterpiece? Is it like Avengers Endgame levels or Joker levels of amazingness? Of course not. It was never going to be. It was never meant to be. But going into the theater, I got what I paid for. And then some. It's, first and foremost, it is a family movie. A lot of people say it's a kid's movie. I don't agree with that. It's a movie for the entire family. I don't care how old you are. Oh, and also, before I even go into this, the whole Rotten Tomatoes Birds of Prey controversy thing, yeah, it's dumb, but I don't want that to dominate the conversation of this movie. I want this movie to be what's talked about, not its dumb thing with Birds of Prey and the idiot fans of Birds of Prey that are trying to tank this movie because they're mad that no one went to go see Extremist Feminism, the movie. I don't want that to be what people think about when they think of the Sonic movie. I want them to think about the movie, not just some dumb feud, some dumb Twitter thing. So I acknowledge it exists, but I don't care about it. I don't care. It's dumb. I don't care. I want to talk about the movie. I want to talk about Sonic. I want to talk about Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. And by the way, he was always Dr. Eggman to me, so I'm gonna just call him Eggman. I get it. He was Robotnik first. I get it, but I'm not exactly I didn't grow up with Sonic like most people did. I didn't get a Genesis literally until a couple months ago. And that was because my dad's friend was like, hey, I know you like Sonic. I have a Genesis. You can have it. But I don't even think it works. And I was like, cool, I'll just take it. And I took it. And sure enough, it doesn't work. But I'm just happy that I have it. Again, the first Sonic game I ever played was Heroes. And I never really read any comics. I watched Sonic X. That's the only Sonic. And I watched a little bit of Sonic Underground. The one where they were musicians and Sonic is a prince. That show's weird. Sonic Underground's weird. But yeah, I watched a little bit of that. I had one DVD of it. I don't remember if I sold it or not. I don't even think I still have it. But I have some of the Sonic. I'm even one of the few people on Earth that like Sonic Forces, apparently. The amount of spite that some Sonic fans have for Sonic Forces, by the way, is ridiculous. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I love this movie. I thought Sonic the Hedgehog was a very good movie. It is probably the best video game movie ever made. And again, I'm not as harsh on movies as a lot of people are when people say, oh, video game movies always suck. I'm just like, yeah, I liked Tomb Raider. I liked the first Mortal Kombat movie. I'm not as quick to say something sucks as a lot of people are. But I do think that this movie is by far the best video game movie ever made, in my humble opinion. Just Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog was perfect. Sonic himself in general is just, you want to give him a hug. He looks adorable, and you feel sorry for him during a lot of the movie because, I don't know if this is a spoiler, he's battling with the fact that he's alone. He's a lonely character in this movie. So you feel sorry for him a lot. And surprisingly, in a lot of movies like this, and one franchise that comes to mind is the Transformers franchise, where they have the Transformers in the real world, but they focus on the human characters too much, and the Transformers are like the side characters. No, Sonic's the main character in this movie, but the human character Tom Wachowski, which I think is hilarious that his name's why is his name Wachowski? Anyway, so Tom in this movie, he's also really cool. He's a likable character, and him and Sonic have a lot of chemistry, and it's just fun watching them bicker. It's just fun. And Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik is absolutely hysterical. I loved him in this movie. And Jim Carrey is my favorite actor of all time. And my favorite movie of his is Dumb and Dumber. I adore Dumb and Dumber. But in this movie, he was... At first, I didn't know what to think. That was one of the first things I heard about the Sonic movie, is that they casted Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. That was one of the first things I remember hearing. That's one of the first things I remember being announced about this movie years ago. And that was what made, not the fact that it was a human CGI hybrid that kind of turned everyone else off. Them announcing Jim Carrey as Eggman, that was when I was like, huh? I was very interested to see how they would pull it off. But Jim Carrey is his normal, just insane, manic, super cartoonish. He's honestly more of a cartoon than Sonic is in this movie, which is hilarious when you think about it. So yeah, and honestly, this isn't much of a spoiler because you know what's going to happen. It's in the trailer. When Sonic and Eggman have their showdown, Eggman's in his mech at the controls, and Sonic is just fighting him. Oh my god, that did wonders for my soul. Because I've played so many Sonic games, so many Sonic levels, Sonic bosses, where I'm playing as Sonic and I'm fighting Eggman in his little spaceship or robot or hovercraft, whatever you want to call it. It was like watching a video game. And I mean that in the best possible way. I have so many good memories of just beating the crap out of Dr. Eggman as Sonic the Hedgehog. And just watching that on the big screen for the first time, it was just magical, okay? It was amazing, okay? I loved it. And none of the other characters were annoying at all. I honestly thought from the trailers that Tom's wife, I think her name's Maddie in the movie, I honestly thought she would get on my nerves, but she was actually pretty funny too. She was funny, which surprised me. I really liked all the human characters in the movie, except for her sister, which you're not supposed to like her sister, but I'm not going to spoil it, but something funny happens with her sister. It's in one of the trailers, kind of, but, so yeah, overall general thoughts, I thought it was really good. It's not the most original plot, like, it's very predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen. It's cheesy at parts, not in a bad way, but it is kind of cheesy at parts. It's stuff you've seen before. Like, there are some scenes that are reminiscent of Quicksilver's scenes in the X-Men movies. Although I will say, the super speed moments that Sonic had in this movie, I liked more because, I'm not going to lie, in X-Men Days of Future Past, I did not like Quicksilver. He had a cool scene. Like, the scene itself with Quicksilver was cool. I liked the scenes in Sonic, this movie, more than the ones in the X-Men movies, is because I liked the character Sonic more. So it was cooler to see a character that I like doing cool stuff than watching a character that I don't really like doing cool stuff, if that makes any sense. So if you gave me the option between watching a cool Quicksilver scene or a cool Sonic scene, I would pick Sonic hands down 100 out of 100 times. No questions asked. And I'm more of a Sonic fan than an X-Men fan anyway, but that's just me. Let's see. Do I have any negatives? I have some two nitpicks, aside from it not being the most creative movie ever made. Actually, three nitpicks, but one of them is more of a joke, but I'll get to that in a minute. Other than the movie, it could have been a longer movie. It honestly, the third act comes, and when the third act is great. It feels like, I remember I listened to Geekdom 101's review of it, and he said it felt like a shonen anime. It absolutely did, and it was wonderful. But it kind of got to the third act kind of quickly, and I was like, oh man, I don't want the ride to end. It's one of those where you're watching the movie and you're enjoying it, and you don't want it to end, but you can tell it's starting to wrap up, and you're just like, oh man, I wish there was more. I wanted more. But hey, that's what sequels are for. You gotta, that's the trick. You gotta leave them wanting more, and I want more. I want more of my adorable, really fast, funny, smart-ass blue hedgehog. Leave me alone. I want to give him a hug, okay? Is it weird that I want to give him a hug? The original Sonic, the first Sonic design, I probably would give him like a fist bump, not a hug. This Sonic, cute, adorable Sonic, I want to give a hug. Baby Sonic, okay. Calm down, Joshua, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. The negatives that I have, again, are very minor. Right off the bat, there are two parts of this movie where Sonic starts flossing. Can flossing die, please? It's 2020. Flossing got old in 2017. And I don't know why people keep doing it. It's in wrestling. There's Fortnite references in Avengers Endgame. I'm stunned that Rey didn't start flossing at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Can we stop with that? It makes sense for Sonic's character, because in the movie, he's like a little kid. He's like a preteen. So it kind of makes sense, and honestly, if he was into video games, he would probably be into Fortnite, but still, can we stop putting flossing in everything? It just reeks of, I want to talk to the young kids who are watching this. I want to look cool for the youngins watching. It's so transparent and just dumb, and I hate it. Just people making movies, TV shows, anything. Stop putting flossing in everything, please. Flossing should only be confined to the dental profession. And that's my terrible joke of the day. The other negative, I have, again, it's just a nitpick, not anything that ruins the experience for me. Product placement. There is some absolutely ridiculous product placement in this movie. If you are a fan of Olive Garden, or I can't remember the name of the website, but there's a part of the movie where she's like, there's a part of the movie where she's discussing with her husband perhaps moving to somewhere else, and he's like, "What's on your computer?" And she looks at the computer and she's like, "Oh, I'm on this moving website, and it's so awesome." And I'm just sitting there like, this movie that I was enjoying just turned into a commercial. This is weird. And the Olive Garden product placement is so just wacky. It is so forced. It's actually kind of hilarious. It's tongue-in-cheek, which honestly, that I wouldn't have done it anyway, but it kind of works because the movie's super goofy. But they literally do Olive Garden catchphrases in this movie, and it's just weird. So the flossing and the product placement just did not need to be in this movie. Just take those things out of the movie, I would have enjoyed it more. But it's super serious, like minuscule nitpicks at this point. Okay, that is enough for my general thoughts on the movie. So if you have not seen this movie yet, I highly recommend go watch this movie. It's great. In my opinion, it's not gonna blow your mind. It's not like Joker. It's not like Avengers Endgame. It's not Shakespeare or anything like that. It's a fun, family-friendly movie that'll tug at your heartstrings. And this movie is really made for Sonic fans. If you are a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, absolutely 100% go watch this movie. If you don't care about Sonic the Hedgehog, if you're not into the franchise, take your kids to go see it. You might have fun. Maybe your kids will be Sonic fans, and this will be their conversion. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. So now, you've had your chance. I am now going to get into the spoiler section of this video. There is going to be spoilers from here on out. You have been warned. If you keep listening at this point, don't get mad at me. You did this to yourself. Okay. So, first off, the one little thing that I said was kind of a joke that I don't really mean it as a negative. There's no Shadow the Hedgehog in this movie. And that makes me sad because Shadow the Hedgehog is my favorite character in the franchise. I mean, for God's sakes, my laptop lock screen is Shadow the Hedgehog on a motorcycle with a gun because I'm still 13, apparently. Yeah, there's no Shadow the Hedgehog in the movie, which makes me cry on the inside a little bit because I love that black and red hedgehog so much. I would totally hang out and go grab a Monster. You know Shadow the Hedgehog drinks Monster energy drinks because that's how edgy he is. But anyway, I wonder, can you imagine Sonic the Hedgehog if he had a Monster energy drink? It'd be like Hammy. It would be like, what was his name? I think his name's Hammy in Over the Hedge. I think his name is Hammy when he has that energy drink and then time just stops. And honestly, he did that in Over the Hedge before Quicksilver had his Quicksilver scenes in the X-Men movies. So Quicksilver's not the first character in movies to do that. Hammy the Squirrel, or I think it's the Squirrel. It's been a while since I've seen Over the Hedge. Another good movie, by the way, where he has an energy drink and he moves so fast the time just stops. So it's been done before. It's not exclusive. It's not just a Quicksilver thing. It's just a fast character thing. But, so yeah, there's a scene where Sonic does the Quicksilver gimmick in the middle of a bar fight, and it is absolutely hysterical. Like, people are fighting, he moves people out of the way, he gives this dude a wedgie, like, puts his underwear over, like, a lighting system. You'd have to watch. It's hilarious. He eats a bunch of chili dogs, and he even later says, what were those things I had? I think she said they were chili dogs? And I'm just in my seat like, bruh. Alright. You got me, Paramount. You got me. But the reference that really got me in this movie, there's a character named Crazy Carl. And he's going on, they're in Green Hills, Montana, which is another wink towards Green Hill Zone, the first, you know what Green Hill Zone is. But they're in Green Hill Zone, and there's rumors of a quote-unquote Blue Devil running around causing trouble. And Crazy Carl, this crazy old man character, says, I've seen it. I'll catch you. I know you're real. And there's a funny joke where he's like, I know you exist. And Sonic yells back, no, I don't. Just Sonic's hilarious in this movie. But the funniest thing in this movie, it'll really test your knowledge of memes, because Crazy Carl has a sketch of the Blue Devil. It's Sonic. Like, the meme of Sonic. The weird, fat, children's drawing of Sonic that's just Sonic. The Sonic meme is in this movie, and it's glorious. It's for a split second. If you blink, you'll miss it. But his sketch of the Blue Devil, Sonic, is Sonic. I busted out laughing in the middle of the theater. That was amazing. That's probably the funniest joke in the movie. I just adored that. I don't know what to say when that happened. That was just amazing. But another thing that I thought was really cool, I was about to go onto a tangent about the beginning of the movie. The movie starts off, Sonic and Eggman are already fighting, but then Sonic's like, huh, you're probably wondering how I got in this crazy situation. And then he goes and says, okay, this is how my life started, pretty much. And we get freaking Baby Sonic. Baby Yoda is cute and all, but he ain't got nothing on Baby Sonic. I want Baby Sonic as a plushie. I want that. But what's really cool is the whole thing about Sonic in this movie is that he's super fast, he has really cool powers, but everyone wants to use his powers for their own purposes. So his owl friend, Longclaw, who is his caretaker, I guess, saves him from a bunch of evil, savage-looking characters. So the first bad guys that he runs from, the reason why he comes to Earth in the first place from his world, which is pretty much Green Hill Zone, he goes from his planet, his island, to the Earth because he's being chased by a bunch of creatures that look like echidnas. They're echidnas. That's why Sonic came to Earth. So I'm thinking, that makes me think, if we get a sequel, we're probably going to get a sequel. This movie made a lot of money. I last time I checked, it made like $50 million, and it was expected to make like $20 or $30 million. So it's made bank. It's doing really well, and it's also beating Birds of Prey. So there's that. But anyway, enough about that. So if and when this movie gets a sequel, if they bring in Knuckles in the sequel, or in a future Sonic movie, and the story is they go the route of Knuckles' people is the reason why Sonic came to Earth in the first place, and they're why something bad happened, because his caretaker, the owl friend, his caretaker, Longclaw, gets shot with an arrow in this movie by an echidna. So they could there's some tension there that they could have between Knuckles and Sonic in a future Sonic movie. They have that built up. That's a storyline they could run with, and that'd be interesting. That was one thing I couldn't stop thinking about when I got out of the theater. I was thinking, dude, they could do a Knuckles versus Sonic thing if they bring Knuckles into one, like maybe not Sonic 2, because I'll get to why not Sonic 2 just yet. But if they do like a Sonic 3, if they do a Sonic 3, they're going to call it Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Because, like, how could you not? But if they do a movie where they bring in Knuckles, they already have a built-in reason for conflict between those two. And it would just be interesting. I would love that. So that right there, I really loved in this movie, because not only is it like, oh, by the way, they're echidnas, and just like, oh, Knuckles! They built it in to where Sonic has a legitimate beef with echidnas, because they're why his owl friend got hurt and why he's on Earth in the first place. So again, I just found that very interesting, and I loved that, because the implications of that are awesome if you're a Sonic fan, because you know where they're going with it. Speaking of characters that are going to bring into sequels, the mid-credits scene, which, not gonna lie, I was mad. Not because of the scene, because I just looked up Sonic the Hedgehog movie about a week ago on my phone, and the first thing I saw on YouTube was screenshots of Tails. Someone who saw an early screening of this movie recorded footage of Tails being in the mid-credit scene and put it on YouTube, and it got plastered all over YouTube. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, crap, that's spoiled for me. So whoever put that on YouTube, screw you. I hate when people... I can only imagine what my reaction would have been if I did not know that going in. But I knew that Tails was going to be in the mid-credit scene going into the movie, and that pisses me off. Because that would have been so awesome. I would have popped so hard for that. But it got ruined for me, so thanks, Internet. God, you gotta be careful going on the Internet whenever you're talking about movies or anything, because you never know. You could just type in the name of the movie and then a screenshot and just immediately spoiled. If they did a Shadow the Hedgehog cameo and someone ruined it on the Internet, I actually would have found out who uploaded it and went to their house and killed them. Just saying. But, yeah, so they had a cameo for Tails, and they're teasing Sonic 2, which is where Tails... And Sonic 2, the video game, is where Tails was introduced, so they're smart. They're smart. They're playing it smart. They're making the fans happy. Which, this movie's getting a lot of praise from certain people, saying studios should listen to fans more often, and this is what happens when you listen to the fans. Okay, right there, that concerns me. I don't like studio execs as much as the next guy, but can we stop pretending that fans are the best at franchises? Because fans really suck sometimes. And Sonic has a infamously bad fan base. So let's not pretend that the fans know what's best for a franchise, okay? Should you respect your fans? Absolutely. But fans need to start respecting the artists. I'm glad that Sonic got redesigned to where he looks, because the way he looks in this movie is just so much better than the original trailer. So I'm thankful for that. But again, I would be careful about giving fans too much of what they want, because fans are super entitled nowadays. Just look no further than Star Wars. Star Wars has the absolute worst fan base I've ever seen in my life, and sometimes I'm ashamed to call myself a Star Wars fan because of how awful they are. But again, it's like it's either the studio or the fans. And honestly, I think both the studio and the fans are both part of the problem. But anyway, enough about that. Again, this movie's amazing. It's not like I honestly like again, no one cares about no one should care about Rotten Tomatoes, but the 60%, 70% range is about where I would put this movie. Like objectively, it's not going to blow your mind. It's not anything you haven't seen before. But as a Sonic fan, I absolutely agree with the audience score, which is like 95%, which is insane. It's insane the amount of love that this movie's getting from fans. And people saying that the critics are panning it, I disagree with that. I mean, if the critics were panning it, then the movie would have like a 20% or a 30%. I mean, it has a higher score than Star Wars Episode 9, as far as critics are concerned. So people saying that the critics are panning this movie, you're just being hyperbolic and you're just going for clicks. Because dumping on critics is kind of big on YouTube at the moment. Are some critics stupid? Yes. Not all critics are bad, though. Some professional critics liked this movie. It is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Can we stop losing sight of what's actually going on, please? Dear critics, not all fans suck. A lot of fans do suck. Dear fans, not all critics suck. Do some critics suck? Yes. It's this tribalism that just drives me nuts. And we need to stop with that. Both sides are the problem. And both sides claim that the other side is the problem. You're both the problem. You're both why it's hard to enjoy movies nowadays. Because you're constantly screaming at each other all the time. It's a bunch of social justice warriors ruining my movies. Because I totally enjoy listening to a bunch of people screaming about social justice warriors all the time. Anti-SJWs are just as bad as SJWs, in my opinion. They make it hard to enjoy movies. But anyway, enough of my tangent about how both studios executives and fans suck. Back to Sonic. Whenever you have a conversation with me, or whenever I talk about anything, I'm going to go in circles. I'm going to go on tangents, so bear with me. But back to Sonic. Sonic's powers are absurd in this movie in the best possible way. It's just the best. The way he plays games with himself. The fact that, like... when he does the scene in the trailers where he's playing baseball with himself, it's so funny. It's hysterical. He's the cocky, he's the lovable kind of cocky. He's not arrogant. There's two different kinds of arrogant. The lovable kind, which is Sonic, and the insufferable kind, which is Eggman. So some people that say Sonic is insufferable in this movie, you're really talking about Eggman. Eggman is just as arrogant as Sonic. Well, no, he's not. He's much more arrogant than Sonic. They're both arrogant, but in different ways. So yeah, and the baseball scene is hilarious. When he... But it turns super sad because, again, Sonic's super lonely. And, like, he realizes that he's just playing baseball by himself. And he just gets this really sad look on his face, and he notices that no one's there. And you just want to go up and give him a hug. It makes you really feel for this character, and I didn't think that... It stuns me that they went this route with Sonic in this movie. And it just makes it makes perfect sense. And it also it's really cool because it makes him mad, and that's what causes the shockwave that causes the U.S. government to notice him. And that becomes his thing in the movie. The full extent of his powers is activated by intense emotion, which he feels 3 times in the movie. First time is when he alerts everyone to his presence with the baseball thing. Then, later in the movie, he gets mad because Tom wants to move away from Green Hill for a different job. So he gets mad, and that's when his powers return. His like super Sonic. Okay, we need to stop calling it Supersonic. Supersonic is yellow. I don't know. Full power Sonic. Can we just call this Full Power Sonic? I guess that's what I'm gonna. Full Power Sonic. Full Power Sonic. Just destroys one of Eggman's mechs because he's mad that he feels Tom is abandoning him. And then later, which I think it's kind of cheesy, but it works. When Tom says, "I'm protecting him because he's my friend," Sonic gets right up because he got hurt in an explosion, so he's laying on the ground unconscious. But when he hears Tom say, "He's my friend," he stands right back up, full power, complete control of it, and just wrecks Dr. Eggman. And he bounces off of it's just like the homing attacks in the video games. I swear to God, it's so cool. Like, he's going so fast, just pinballing off of Dr. Eggman's ship. It's just like the video games, and it's the best. And earlier, during their fight, where they're just running all across the world, Sonic's throwing his rings, going through them. They go to the Great Wall of China, they go to France, which I thought was hilarious. And then they go to the pyramids. When they're in Egypt, next to the pyramids, Sonic pulls a move from Sonic Heroes, because in Sonic Heroes, if you press the jump button and the square button, or the action button, he spins around really fast and makes a tornado. When he's fighting Dr. Eggman in Egypt, he does a tornado, and I'm like, bro, this is right out of Sonic Heroes. I love this. The tornado's not blue, it's sand, but close enough. Close enough. Dude, can you, if they had like a song from Crush 40 in this movie, I would have absolutely lost my mind. There's not, but they could do that in the sequel. They need to hire Crush 40, I swear to God. Paramount Pictures. You've proven that you like to listen to the fans, which again is not always a good thing. But listen to me. Hire Crush 40 for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I don't care. Have them in the next Sonic movie. Just have them do something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other things to talk about. Sonic's powers are really cool. His 2 super speed scenes are just amazing. They're hilarious. And they work for me personally more than the Quicksilver scenes because I like Sonic as a character more than I like Quicksilver as a character in the X-Men movies. I just felt like he was just... I just found him annoying. He honestly is very similar to Sonic's character in his movies. But in those movies, I just felt that he was just more annoying than anything. But the way Sonic did it, it was more endearing, if that makes any sense. I don't hate Quicksilver. I just don't get it, if that makes any sense. He's cool, but his kind of snark just rubs me the wrong way. At least in Days of Future Past, I liked him in Apocalypse. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So yeah, there's so many Easter eggs. There was the one about Sonic that just about knocked me out of my chair because I thought it was hilarious. And there's another touching moment where there's a part where like he's unconscious and they're looking over him, they're trying to mend his wounds, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at his poor little feet, and look at his shoes, they're all torn up. He needs new shoes." And Maddie's sister's daughter, the little girl in the trailers, she goes and she brings Sonic his shoes that he has in the games. Well, the way the trailers played it, I thought they were going to go the route of she made his shoes, but I think that they're just her shoes. She just gave them to Sonic because she's a nice person, and that's how he has his trademark red shoes. I loved that. In the theater I was in, people were applauding when he put those shoes on. Which I'm just like, oh, this movie's getting me in the feels, bruh. One of the funniest jokes in the movie is when, by the way, when they're doing they're first on the run from Eggman and the government. They go to a gas station, and Sonic notices that there's a saloon next door. I just said saloon, my god, I'm like an old man. But there's a party, pretty much. There's a bar, and it looks super fun. And Sonic so badly wants to go, but he's supposed to stay put. But he's a little kid that just wants to have fun, so he's freaking out in his car. And the funniest one is when he's like going up and down in his seat saying, "Be strong, be strong." That's hilarious. That's just so good. It's so painfully Sonic that it's just the best. Sonic has so many one-liners and moments like that is just so Sonic the Hedgehog. They did his character justice in this movie. He is absolutely 100% through and through Sonic the Hedgehog in this movie. And I loved it. And my girlfriend loved it too. Stephanie, when the part where, what part was it? When the first super slow-mo scene where Sonic's going really fast, my girlfriend Stephanie, she was dying laughing. And I was too, but there were multiple parts when she was dying laughing. So again, my girlfriend, she has very basic knowledge of the Sonic franchise. She knows that it exists. She's never played any of the games. But she loved the movie. So, again, you don't have to be a Sonic fan to enjoy this movie. This movie's made for Sonic fans, first and foremost. But if you're casual, if you've never even heard of Sonic before, you would enjoy this movie. It's a light, easy to digest, fun family movie. It's just, you have to go and watch it and have fun. That's all it is. It's a fun time at the movies. But it'll mean more to you if you're a Sonic fan. And I'm a Sonic fan, so it meant the world to me. And after they beat Eggman, he knocks Eggman into one of those portals, and they land him in the mushroom world. And of course, there's a line in the movie where Sonic's like, "I hate mushrooms," and I'm just like, "All right there, Sega. A little Sega does what Nintendo don't, huh? I get what you. I get you right. I understand what you're going with that. What if they like make a good Mario movie and then they do a Sonic and Mario crossover movie, dude?" This could be the first step to, like, a video game cinematic universe. Dude. They need to call up Kevin Feige. Dude. Alright, anyway, I'm getting carried away. Dr. Eggman. I haven't talked much about Dr. Eggman. He's hilarious in this movie. And again, I get it, in this movie he's more Dr. Robotnik. I've never known him as Robotnik. I've known him as Eggman. I get it, that's what he was called first. But in the movie, Sonic calls him Eggman several times, so Dr. Eggman, that's what I'm going to call him. That's what he's always been to me. If you don't like that, sorry. But again, I can't get over how much watching Sonic destroy Eggman robots is just the best thing to watch. Because if you play the Sonic games, that's pretty much all you do in those games is just destroy Eggman robots. And it's so satisfying to watch a movie where Sonic does that. It's funny because Eggman starts out with this huge mech, Sonic destroys it, and a smaller mech comes out of it. Sonic destroys that, and an even smaller mech comes out of it. And Tom destroys it, because Tom gets a moment to shine. And then a teeny tiny little robot comes out, and I'm just like, oh my god, Eggman, relax. He has a contingency plan inside the contingency plan of his contingency plans. I mean, again, he has an IQ of 300, but it's ridiculous. And his dance montage is hilarious. It's just... And the way he treats Agent Stone in the movie is also hilarious. This movie's hilarious. This is a very funny movie. So... trying to think of other things to talk about in this movie. I'm about out of things to talk about. Go see it. Go support it. I'm probably going to go see it again. Actually, a friend of mine, Mr. Perfect Fangstein, wanted to go see it with me, but then I told him I'm taking my girlfriend out to go see it. And he was like, "You said when this movie came out that you would take me to see it." And I was like, "I didn't have a girlfriend back then. Back off." Mr. Perfect Fangstein, if you're listening to this, Bradley, if you're listening to this, I love you, buddy, but maybe next time. He's going to kill me when he hears this. So yeah, this will be my last podcast because my friend Bradley's going to murder me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this ride, because I know I have, but anyway. So yeah, as a lifelong Sonic fan, I adored this movie. I want to see more. I would love to see the sequel. I would love to... And Tails was adorable, too. All the anthropomorphic characters in this movie, which is honestly just Sonic and Tails, but they're adorable. Baby Sonic, I want that as a plushie. Valentine's Day's already come and gone. I don't care. I would get that for my girlfriend. Actually, I'm lying. I would get a Sonic plushie for myself. Who am I kidding? So yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to my thoughts on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. If you have not seen it yet, then you should not be listening to this part of the video, because I told you there would be spoilers. There's really light spoilers. You know what's going to happen in this movie. The only thing I'm spoiling is some of the references, some of the Easter eggs and jokes. Honestly, that's all I've spoiled. So, you know how it's going to go down, so, yeah. But thank you guys so much for listening. Again, go watch the movie. It's great. Thank you so much. And this is also going to be on my YouTube channel, so like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff if you want to see more of my videos. And speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, he is currently one of the top contenders for the TAW World Heavyweight Championship, and whenever Perfect Storm 2 comes out, because I am working on it, Sonic is in the main event of Perfect Storm 2 for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's him versus the Joker versus Frieza versus Liu Kang. Fatal 4-way elimination. Maybe, if you go see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, Sonic will win the World Heavyweight title. That is the weirdest plug in human history. That was... Okay, alright, I'm done. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys next time. Go watch the Sonic movie. Good night, everybody. I'm never going to end this with peace. I may be cringe, but I'm just rambling at this point. Good night, everybody.